Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will tell you about largest ports from different countries. Port of Melbourne from Australia, Port of Buenos Aires from Argentina, Port of Algiers from Algeria, Chattogram Port from Bangladesh, Port of Santos from Brazil, Port of Antwerp from Belgium, Port of Shanghai from China, Port of Cartagena from Colombia, Port of San Antonio from Chile, Port of Sihanoukville from Cambodia, Port of Vancouver from Canada, Port of Copenhagen from Denmark, Port of Alexandria from Egypt, Marseille Fos Port from France, Port of Helsinki from Finland, Port of Hamburg from Germany, Port of Piraeus from Greece, Port of Tanjung Priok from Indonesia, Jawaharlal Nehru Port from India, Port of Genoa from Italy, Port of Dublin from Ireland, Shahid Rajah Port from Iran, Port of Yokohama from Japan, Port of Yangon from Myanmar, Tanger Med from Morocco, Port Klang from Malaysia, Port of Manzanillo from Mexico, Port of Rotterdam from Netherlands, Lagos Port Complex from Nigeria, Port of Oslo from Norway, Port of Auckland from New Zealand, Port of Sohar from Oman, Port of Karachi from Pakistan, Port of Gdansk from Poland, Port of Lisbon from Portugal, Port of Manila from Philippines, Hamad Port from Qatar, Port of Novorossiysk from Russia, Port of Algeciras from Spain, Port of Jeddah Islamic from Saudi Arabia, Port of Durban from South Africa, Port of Busan from South Korea, Port of Singapore from Singapore, Port of Dakar from Senegal, Port of Colombo from Sri Lanka, Port of Gothenburg from Sweden, Port of Istanbul from Turkey, Liam Chabang Port from Thailand, Port of Raids from Tunisia, Port of Odessa from Ukraine, Port of Jebel Ali from UAE, Port of Los Angeles from United States, Port of Hai Phong from Vietnam. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel.